안녕하세요. 저는 카자흐스탄에서 온 다큐멘터리 감독 알렉스리입니다. My documentary Belong was selected by the Diaspora film festival in Incheon in September. And I decided to shoot the documentary to show what the foreign community or foreigners have to go through, some of the challenges that they have to go through and face in South Korea as foreigners. We wanted to share that with the local community so that South Koreans can also see. I think a lot of people find it very interesting and they don't know about these problems. Well, these are not problems, but challenges. Let's call them just challenges. So a lot of South Koreans don't actually, they're very surprised when they hear that we have to go through these little things and challenges in South Korea. And I think it's quite interesting to show to a bigger audience and share this information. Yeah. So about a year and a half ago, I decided to move to South Korea. I was very intrigued by that idea. And so I decided to research before obviously coming here, what it would be like, what my experiences would be like, and what is South Korea, because it was my first ever visit to South Korea. I found a lot of bloggers on YouTube and obviously rewatched those videos. They talk about a lot of things, about their challenges, but some of them talk about how convenient it was for them to live in South Korea. And I thought, by speaking English, I would be fine. But they talked about their experience in Seoul, and I completely missed that part. So when I moved to South Korea, I decided to stay in Incheon. And the problem is in Incheon, not as many people speak fluently English as in Seoul, for example. I ran into such challenges as just, ordering coffee or a pizza in a pizzeria in Incheon. And people talk about Songdo as an international hub, sort of. You would expect that people in Songdo would also speak English, and unfortunately that's also not true. So little things like this, like the language, people who want to, move to South Korea or they want to live here for a few years, to have a better experience, I would advise them to learn Korean first, at least a little bit. It would help a lot. Because Korean is such a unique language, and we don't see Korean characters anywhere in the world. Like, for example, if we travel to, Germany or France, we see letters, or even to Russia. But in Korea, you see Hangul letters. Like, they're so unique in a way that you don't see them anywhere in the world. So when you first come here, it takes a lot longer for your brain, for your mind to adapt to Hangul. And so for me, it took about a year, maybe, a year to adapt to it. So because I couldn't speak Korean very well, about almost a year actually, most of my friends were foreign because that's how I could communicate with people, And when we get together, obviously we talk about the challenges we face and some of the problems or some of the inconveniences that we have to go through in Korea. One day we decided to talk about it, and to share this with the local people, because a lot of South Koreans actually, know what foreigners have to go through. And we decided to make a documentary, to film a documentary about it. And some of my friends, I offered them to do an interview, and they said, sure, let's do it. And so we filmed a documentary. In my documentary, I wanted to gather as many experiences as possible from different points of view. There is a person from America, Spain, and a black person's perspective. I decided to talk about Koreans who don't speak Korean and who also are very curious about South Korea. And they're very patriotic too, and they want to learn their language, and it's just historically happened so that they couldn't, and they didn't have a chance to learn their own language. So I wanted to talk about that community as well. So is Korea opening up its borders, its mindset to foreign cultures and other countries? It's important to talk about how the local community can communicate with the foreign community. We can see that a lot of foreigners are struggling to learn Korean and are struggling to integrate into the Korean society, and they live a closed, so to speak, life from the Korean community. So we want to help them integrate into the South Korean community as well, because all of them are Koreans by blood. They just were raised in a different country. So in my movie, I wanted I wanted my documentary to serve as a bridge between these communities so that people open their minds and see and basically make a step forward to each other, to better understand each other and help each other in these difficult times, and especially this year. So if you're interested in watching my documentary, come to the Diaspora Film Festival that's going to be held at Incheon Square 1 from September the 18th to the 22nd. There's going to be a bunch of other films and by different directors, both local South Korean directors and foreign directors, so I'm sure you'll find a movie to your liking. At the end, I wanted to thank the Diaspora Film Festival for this great opportunity to be able to make this film and convey this message to the broad audiences, both in South Korea and abroad. Thank you very much, guys.